4 scoops matcha.
Whip and down lid.
That's not tea that you're drinking over there. That's dessert covered as a green costume. You can drink it, enjoy it, whatever. This isn't a beverage court case. The main point is that performance around it.
That's what grade your matcha is.
We're matcha drinkers. Of course we think we're better than you.
Matcha has become one of those things that people don't just consume, they use it to imply they're upgraded. They use it like holding a green cup gives you a personality, a skincare routine, and even maybe a higher credit score. Let's talk about what matcha actually is and why people got obsessed over it, and how the internet turned powdered tea into a social hierarchy. Matcha is just a tea. It's made from leaves, and if they have a bit more shading to it, that changes the flavor. That pushes it toward that smoother, savory umami profile, sort of say. And the good stuff costs more because the process is slow and limited. Traditionally, this is tied to deliberate preparation and it's meant to be paid attention to. That's all you need to know, nothing more. Now, if you look at what's going around when a slow, limited product gets dropped into a culture where everything has to be sweet, portable, and postable, you get things like this. Matcha didn't blow up because it tastes incredible. It blew up because it looks like wellness. People associate green things with wellness. Since green drinks now come with a surrounding halo effect, ordering matcha latte feels like choosing the responsible options even when it arrives tasting like melted ice cream. It's actually caffeine that lets people feel morally tidy, and coffee wakes you up. In hindsight, it's the same addiction, it just has a different packaging. And the drink plays along. Milk is gonna make it smoother. Sugar will add the weird taste that it has, and syrup will finish the job, because the bitter edge is the part that reminds people that they don't actually like matcha. They like the idea of matcha. And that's why plain matcha exposes everything. When you take away the add-on, you don't just get this clean and earthy feeling. You get a grassy, savory punch that makes people pause and even blink twice like their phone just died. That's the love story that was never made with matcha, it was with the latte. And after all of this, of course, TikTok got a hold of it, and matcha became an identity project. Overnight, everyone is a matcha connoisseur.
I saw this place called the Yum Tea while I was walking yesterday, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it tomorrow. They seriously had the most perfect matcha milk.
First order of business is a swatch test. What we're after in a high quality matcha is a very smooth texture, and what we want to avoid is a grainy one, which signifies a lower quality of matcha.
They're actually calm, where they're whispering soft videos in spotless kitchens. They even have a bamboo whisk, some of them. They even get a neutral mug and soft lighting. And also, tone of voice that suggests they've been studying Japanese tea culture for a decade. Even though last year they were filming protein coffee hacks like a lab technician, well, unfortunately the internet doesn't create experts. It actually creates confident narrators. People learn 5 phrases and then pronounce a few words carefully, then speak like they're safeguarding tradition right before adding vanilla syrup and cold foam. This cultural commentary delivered through a straw that no one asked for. And the part that got me questioning their sanity is how much authority people think they get from this aesthetic. Who do they think they are? If you whisk slowly enough.
Video on the basics of why I'm doing all these things and how to make it and why I do it in this way. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave it linked in this video. But this is just showing you like what my matcha routine looks like, you know? Once we're done sifting.
You can say anything and then you can call your dessert ceremonial. Your audience will treat it like it's knowledge, which doesn't make any flipping sense. Speaking of ceremonial, this is where the scam becomes a bit elegant, let's call it. Ceremonial grade.
Can cost 20 times as much as pale green matcha. And while this bright green powder takes a few seconds to dissolve in water, it takes an entire year to grow the plant it comes from. So what makes ceremonial grade matcha so exceptional?
That sounds official, sort of said, like their governing body, like somewhere or someone in Japan stamped your bag and approved of your lifestyle choices.
Anyone can label anything as ceremonial grade and use it as a marketing term.
When in Western market, it's mostly a marketing label. There isn't any single universal system policing in the world across brands, which is why this ceremonial label can mean anything from genuinely high quality to something that tastes like green regret. Cafes, though, love it because it just justifies a higher price tag while letting the customer feel like they're participating in culture, not consuming a trend. It's a spiritual receipt, if you may. Then the same expensive powder will get poured into milk. It gets slapped with sweeteners, syrups, foam, and even a bit of ice. And the only thing left is the color. At that point, the quality is decorative. It's like buying a luxury candle and using it to light a cigarette. That's a very premium behavior. Experts comparing this to make it sangria with expensive French wine is perfect. It captures the exact vibe. You paid for nuance, yet immediately delete it. Why would you even go to those lengths to do? Why? I don't get. Now let's just say you add a bit of a shortage arc and it becomes even better. Since matcha production in general is a slow, seasonal and limited process, you can't scale it at the speed of the internet demands. But the internet thinks that everything works like a clock similar to Amazon Prime. So demand spikes, certain products sell out, and suddenly matcha becomes a bit scarce. And scarcity does something to people. They stop being adults. They start hoarding things, posting hauls, and acting like they've secured rare resources for the apocalypse. Online arguments are my favorite when they pop out about ethics and supply, since it's always hilarious because nothing says moral issues like whispering about matcha scarcity while pouring it into oat milk. And since cafes lean into that idea, you've got limited drops, you've got exclusivity, ceremonial, and the whole time, well, the actual drink in most hands is still a sweet green dessert pretty much. That's the comedy. That people are fighting over a product they wouldn't even enjoy without sugar. And anyway, matcha is just is fine. It doesn't matter. It's just the internet version of matcha that is a green status badge for people who confuse consumption with character.
I think that it's like kind of conflated with the same kind of young woman who would perhaps do Pilates.
Since it's a drink that is used to require patience, and now it's turned into content for people who can't sit still without filming themselves. And the bitterness normally gets taken out. It gets cut out of it. The ritual gets reduced into vibes, and though that cup becomes proof that you're updated. So keep your matcha latte, whisk it slowly, speak even slowly, and use the right mug. Just, don't get weird about it. It's a bit too much. Because underneath it, the aesthetic is still sugar wearing green.
Pula, boy, pula, cavalo,